Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of the Village Law SEQFC preview show. Now, as you all know, South East Queensland is in lockdown. No games have been played for the past fortnight. So imagine my surprise when I'm looking through my Facebook feed and I see all these TFL results. And I'm thinking, oh, it must be from a couple of weeks ago, But then I look into it, they've still been playing. They're the only comp that's still going. So we thought, well, we better do a preview show about the only comp that's going at the moment. So we have got a cast of thousands tonight. I'm going to run through them all with you. We've got Rob Fowler, who is coach of West Wanderers. G'day, Rob.
Yeah, how are you, Darren?
Good. Great to have you. We've got Ramiz Hadzic from Rockville. G'day, Ramiz. How are you, mate?
Good.
Excellent. We've got Jamie McMillan from Willowburn. G'day, Jamie.
Darren, how are you, mate?
Excellent. We've got Ashley Freier, who's captain of St Albans. G'day, Ashley.
G'day, Darren. How are you?
Good, mate. And from the women's side of things, we've got Ashley Hannan from Warwick Wolves. G'day, Ashley.
Hi.
And last but not least, we've got Nikola Stevenson, who is at Chinchilla. G'day, Nikola.
Hey guys, how you going?
Good. All right. So let's get into this. Rob, I might throw this to you. You guys are playing at the moment, so the lockdown rules haven't applied. However, Gatton are the only ones that seem to be caught in the lockdown and their games aren't being played. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty well. There's three clubs involved. One is Gatton, one is Withcott, and the other one's Laidley. So Laidley have a men's team in the conference division. Gatton have teams all the way through from juniors through to men. And Withcott, I don't think has a senior team this year, but probably has junior teams that are probably affected. So those guys haven't been able to participate with us for the last 2 weeks.
Right. And what's going to happen with their games? Are they going to be midweek fixtures to catch it up? Are they just going to be 2 points for one point a game? How's that going to work?
There was a thing come out from Football Toolma today. So basically, if you look at the table for a lot of I just took senior football, pretty well the four teams for the premiers is set, and they're Toolma teams. They're not involving any of those teams. For champs, I think it's something similar. It didn't involve those, but for our conference, our third division, Gatton was, I think, third on the table down there, so it involved them. The thing that came out from Football Toolma today is that they're not going to replay them. They're going to give everyone a 0-0 draw for those games that you've missed, and just run from there. And I guess people just got to look at how that affects them.
Okay, Ramiz, I might throw this to you. What do you think of that decision?
Well, something has to be done because football, we're lucky enough that football can still go on. I mean, COVID apparently stops at the range. So, whatever works to get football going, I suppose. And we'll just have to wait and see for like the odd team, like in that conference one, where the lockdown has, fully gone and they can actually play the semi-final. I would imagine if it doesn't, our season still has to go on and we still got to finish it off. So there might be some tough calls, but yeah, we'll see how we go.
So, Jamie, do you think that this is a good call, that with the 0-0 draws, you don't think it's going to make any impact?
Oh, definitely. It's not going to suit everyone, Darren. There's going to be a few that may be sitting on the cusp, or I know in the conference if they were to play Laidley, so if they put a heap behind them, they still have a chance in the minor premiership. There is a few adjustments maybe from third to second, or and it's not going to suit everyone. But as the other two guys have said, football's got to go on. So the 0-0 draws is probably we can't blame those guys. It's not their fault. So something's got to happen so we can go ahead. And as Rob was saying in that email, that they'll delay a couple of those. There's a junior 16-17s in that conference match, maybe till after that Sunday, the following Tuesday, to be played if they are allowed community sports upon Football Queensland and the Queensland government. So yeah, I'm supportive of it. It gets us going forward and still get a final series at the right time of year so we can get a break.
All right. Now let's have a look at this competition. Ashley, Freier, St Albans, last season wasn't a lot going on, but this year you've got it all together. What's happened?
Yeah, no, yeah, last year was we shot ourselves in the foot last year actually, but yeah, no, Danny and the boys, we all recruited well this year, but we've all just started clicking, so it's no, it's good. Where we're sitting at the moment is where we want to be, which is good.
So how many guys did you bring in?
6, I think. 4 of them were actually from uni, from their Premier team last year as well. So no, it's good. And we brought in old head Jace Watt and Mark Ferdinand as well. So
okay. And what have those players brought to the side that's made you so successful?
We've brought in the Golden Boot this year, Maddox. He's killing it up there for us at the moment, so we've got a bit of pace with him. Our centre midfielder, Jared Ott. Jared Ott.
27 goals. Is it doing pretty well?
Oh, he's 30, I think, maybe, or just before. But he does score a lot of our goals, which is good, but I'm not going to complain about it. But, we brought in just some utility players as well that just they know their job. They come off the bench for the last 10, 15 to give the boys a bit of a rest. And, it's good. And a new goalie this year as well.
Okay. So, obviously, with the increase in players, you've got a bit of depth to your side now.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, you guys were supposed to play Gatton on the weekend, so obviously that didn't happen. What does a professional side like St Albans do on a week off?
Some of us spent time with our partners, and there's only 2 of us in the team that have got kids. So I had mine on the weekend. So I don't know what the other boys did, but I probably could guess what some of them did, though.
Okay, so it was a weekend off. There was no getting together to watch a game or anything like that.
Some of the boys went and watched Rockville versus Willows, actually. So, yeah. Oh, obviously, they're the other 2 teams that are in the top 4 as well. Same as Wanderers. So, they went down there and studied up a bit, I think.
Okay, let's talk about that result. Jamie, you had a 2-0 win over Rockville on the weekend. Ramiz, feel free to jump in at any time as well. A good result for you guys, Jamie.
I was, mate. We've had a bit of a rocky road the last few weeks, coming into a lot of football, weeknight football, catch-ups, wet rounds. So, yeah, we needed to try and get the 3 points running into these finals. It's imperative for us. And Rockville are no slouch, so we knew it's always like a bit of a derby every time Rockville and Willowburn play each other. So, and it wasn't to disappoint. Rockville hit the bar probably in the first 2 minutes, so they were there to turn the heat up and delivered quite well. And our boys grounded out, and it was a back and forth game the whole time though, so it was entertaining as a coach to watch. And we got the 3 points, which was great.
What's your take, Ramiz?
Yeah, no, it's always a tough game, like Jamie said. We got off to a flyer actually, and we were probably unlucky not to score. But once Willows you got into the game a bit more and made it, a bit more of a midfield battle and whatnot. They scored at the right time and then punished us again in the second half. So, it's always a tough game. And like Jamie said, the whole league sort of had a sort of tough couple of weeks, with a midweek game almost every week as well. And, you're running light this end of the season on player suspensions and just injuries and all that sort of stuff. So I think everyone's sort of waiting now for finals to come in and just give it everything they've got.
Rob, you guys had a 3-0 win over Warwick.
Yep.
Tell us about that game.
Warwick's always tough at Warwick to go down there and play against those guys down there. They, like when they're on their home pitch, they always make it a hard game. We did quite well. I think we were a goal up after about 5 minutes or so. And then we had another 1 or 2 opportunities. We probably controlled the game pretty well, I thought. We didn't run away with it type of thing towards the end, but credit to Warwick, they sort of stuck in it for a lot of the game.
The other result on the weekend was Stanthorpe United having a 5-1 win over Highfields. Let's take a quick look at the ladder here. And we've got St Albans on top, 44 points after 19 games. Willowburn in second on 42 after playing one game extra. West Wanderers in third on 36 points. Rob, can you catch any of the top two teams? Are there enough games left?
No, there's only this weekend left. So we play Highfields this weekend, which hopefully we should get the win against those guys. And we get the 1 point to make up that extra game because we had one game against Gatton, which gets us the draw.
Right. So we're into the final weekend of the competition.
Yeah, finals kick off the week after that.
Okay. What's happened to Highfields this year?
Highfields I always find are fairly competitive. They're a very young team, is what I always find with Highfields. What their club needs is a few older boys around them, sort of thing, to lead them around. I can remember in our very first game of the season this year, I think we beat them about 10-0, but after about the second or third goal, they just struggled to come back from that, and that's where you need some older heads. They're a very competitive team. They play not a bad style of football. They try to play out and do stuff like that. So I think they need that bit of composure, a bit of older heads around them is what they need.
Right. So with this being the final round, Willowburn obviously taking on Gatton, so that becomes a 0-0 draw. Is that correct?
Yep.
That's correct.
Yep. Okay. So that effectively means that St Albans have won the league, yeah?
That's
Yeah,
right.
pretty well, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Ashley, how was the...
No drinking this weekend, Ashley, is there?
Absolutely not.
So was it the decision today that confirmed the league for you then?
I think it was last weekend. Well, pretty much when the letter come out today, you could say that. But the word around the street was, that 1 point was going to happen for the top three teams pretty much because Gatton's last three games are against us, Wanderers and Willowburn. So,
right.
Yeah, the point there, the game that pretty much won us the Prem was the touch-up game against Willowburn 2 weeks ago, I think. The win there for either team was pretty much both hands on the trophy there. So we were lucky to come away with the win on that night, which is good.
So have you had a moment where you've all had that celebration?
No, that will be on Saturday. We got Stanthorpe out there, so we'll be celebrating it then, I think.
Okay, all right. So you've obviously got something planned for then, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. Now tell us about Stanthorpe this season. Last year they were, battling for the league and narrowly missed out. This year they lost 2 players to the Thunder, and now they're very mid-table.
Yeah, no.
Were those guys that much of a difference for them?
Yeah, that midfielder, Hunter, he was sensational for them last year. I had him top player of the year. So, losing him definitely put a hole in their midfield, in the whole squad. But he come back in the second round. He versed us in the second round. It was a completely different game. Both games we played them, there's only been 1 goal in it. So, no, they're definitely a bit different from last year. But, no, they're still a quality team, and they can still win games. So,
all right. So, let's have a look at
Darren. I was just going to say to you, I was talking we actually had them in the first round down there, in the very first round of the competition, and they hadn't actually started training until 2 weeks before the competition started. They were way behind the 8 ball. There's a few political issues that go on in Stanthorpe, and part of that was they didn't actually get a physical side together until about 2 weeks before the comp. So I think it took them a round just to get into the swing of things, type of thing.
All right. So with the Stanthorpe United, there's about 3-4 clubs out there, aren't there, that they grab their players from? So
yeah. So I think there was just a few issues around teams and stuff like that, which hindered them to start with, and then they never sort of caught up after that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. So Ramiz, I'll throw back to you now. With the club in 4th place, how are you guys settling in for the finals here? Is it just a weekend to just make sure you don't come away with any injuries against Warwick?
Yeah, well, yes and no. There's always players that need a rest, but there's also players coming back from suspension, and we just got to try to find some form. Obviously, after the loss to Willows on the weekend, you sort of want to go into finals. With a win. We had a good result against St Albans a couple of weeks ago. We held them to a 1-1 draw, and it was a really good game back and forwards. I mean, both teams had their chances, but now to drop points to Willowburn, we're sort of, one step forward, two steps back. But yeah, just really need to find some form going in because, Wanderers have been on a bit of a hot streak of late as well, and that's who we're going to be playing in a knockout semi.
So it's 1v4 and 2v3 and winners through to the final. Is that how it works?
No, so it's one plays two. The winner goes direct to the final, and then the loser plays the winner of 3 and 4.
Right. Okay. All right. So there we go. Jamie, you're sitting in second place. How are you going to approach the next couple of weeks?
This weekend we'll take the draw as with Gavin as a nice rest and recovery weekend. So the few little niggles that everyone's experiencing. No threat now of any more yellow cards. I had a few sitting on 4. So that kind of helps get the reset coming into the final. So we'll use it as probably try and get together a bit of a bonding session either Friday or Saturday night and keep the training up this week and next week and do our best in that first semi.
All right. Now, Willowburn obviously won a lot of trophies last season. So given that you're in second place, do you consider yourself favourites or has St Albans got that tag?
No, they got the target on their back this year. They can have it. I'm not sure. Everyone wants to beat Willowburn, and kind of, it's been the way it is because we have been a successful club. And that's always a good feather in the cap to have. But Saints have delivered this year. They've really worked hard, and the results have shown. So they deserve to be in that top spot, and it's now us three is to see who's going to be the one to try and take it off them.
Ramiz and Rob, I'll throw the same question to you. Who's the favourites going into the finals?
I think St Albans, just with the results that they've had this year, and I think a big clutch moment was a couple of weeks ago when they played Willowburn in their final round as well, because I think they were 1 win each. So to take that streak to 2-1, it's good confidence. You always remember your last game against the team. So for me, it's St Albans, I think, and they probably think that they're favourites. But like Jamie said, it's up to us three to try to knock them off.
What about you, Rob?
I'm going to throw all the pressure back on Ash again. I'll go with the other boys. I'll say Saints. I've got to say Saints.
Cheers. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I mean, they've been the benchmark the whole season. I think you've probably got the best for and against for the whole season. Knocked in the most goals. And I agree with what Ramiz said just before, just about, that was the crux game between both teams as to who was going to take the minor premiership, and Saints got them the win, which puts them in that position. So I think Ash is going to have to take that favourites tag all the way into the finals. But he's got broad shoulders.
What do you think, Ash?
Oh, mate, yeah, we'll take it. But we've all talked. We've all said up and down. Our bogey team at the moment, I think it's Wanderers actually. First game, they absolutely demolished us, and if we're going to do tallies now, it's 2-2 for the season. But they're the ones to watch, and Willowburn's always the Willowburn though. Crunch game every time they cross that park, and exactly the same as Rockville too. They're a physical team and very fast. So we've got a young team, but if we want to win it, then of course we're all going to have broad shoulders and try and get to the finish line, I suppose.
All right. Good stuff, guys. We'll come back to you shortly, but it's time to bring the ladies in and have a chat about this the Premier Ladies competition. So, Ashley and Nikola, you've both from regional teams in the competition. So I'll start with you, Ashley. How's Warwick's participation in the competition been this season? I understand it was 2 leagues that was brought back to 1. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Warwick, Chinchilla, Gatton and Wanderers, I think, were all in the Championship Ladies division last season, and we all got put in to Prems, which the ladies here, we were really excited about for the new challenge. I mean, I think we played each team 5 times last season, so it got a little bit repetitive. While we did enjoy our trips out to Chinchilla, it's a big weekend to do it 3 times. I think the thing that's got us this season is just our consistency has been a bit hard to get a consistent team on the park. I mean, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, sorry, we played with 8 on the team against Gatton. Our Highfields game, we ended up with 9. So it's just been a bit consistency for us.
All right, but has the decision been the right one to include you all in the same comp?
I would say yes. I think there are others that might say no. I enjoy the faster paced football, being able to watch. I mean, Willowburn, they're an excellent team. Just being able to watch the way that they play on the sideline and being able to be on the field, and it almost makes you work harder a little bit. But you can see, you know, when you look at the score lines, when you look at the table, there's a clear top 4. It's been hard to break some of those teams. So pros and cons in each column, I guess.
All right, when you look at your position on the ladder, you're in 7th place on 18 points. You're happy with that haul?
We can say yes. We can say yes. Again, we've won some, you know, games that we weren't expected to win. We've threw some others away to come out 7th. It's, you know, in a tough comp. It's not a bad place to start in our first year back in Prems.
And how do you guys get to games? Do you get a bus, or is it all just convoy?
It's everyone for themselves. If you can get a bit of a carpool going, it's great. But no bus available for us out here, unfortunately.
Nikola, I'm going to throw all those same questions at you. What's your take on the competition?
Yeah, so Chinchilla was a big advocate for having the divisions combined. We knew that there was going to be games where we lost big, and we did definitely do that a couple of weeks ago where Willow thrashed us 10-0. But we also have had other positive results, like we only lost 3-1 against Highfields on the weekend. We're sitting in 8th, but we're still in touch with the next 4 above us, or 3 above us. So like we're going to be, they've given us our own final to go to. They've called it the Silver Plate. So we'll go in and we'll be against Warwick and USQ and the Rubies from Rockville, which is really good because it gives us another chance to play football. And I think that Silver Plate's important for the ladies because it keeps those teams who are sitting down the bottom, who are getting beaten by significant margins sometimes, still a chance to get more football. It gives us a chance to be more competitive, to raise our level up to those that we're coming up against. I know it probably slows those top teams down a little bit, but in my opinion, Willow's been the only really standout team in terms of performance. The other teams we've still been able to stay in touch with. We had a close game with the Rovers girls the other week. So yeah, I think that combination division, and even if we get up to having 12 or more teams again, I'd still like to see us stay as much as one division as possible. I've been playing in the TFL for a long time, since 2008. So I've seen it be one division, I've seen it be 2 divisions. And I always think that it's better the more football you get to play against quality players, the better the entire region gets as players. And
carpool or bus for your team?
Yeah, we're carpool too. The bus, because we're in a resource sector, the hiring of the bus is extremely expensive out here.
Right.
So, and we have players, we've got a mixed age group. So we've got players who are right from 14 up to mid 40s. So we've got parents, we've got people who are having to go away on the weekends for their kids' sport, as well as their own sport. Even in my own household, my husband and I both play. And so this weekend, my husband's at Gundy and I'm playing USQ. And then our son plays in the junior Dolby competition as well. So we're all over the place. So we can't always
You
couple.
certainly are.
Yeah.
Jamie, I might bring you into this, given that your wife is captain of Willowburn, who are top of the league by a considerable margin. 128 goals for and just 10 goals against after 17 games. That's quite a performance by the team this season.
Yes, they're really, yeah, and they're quite, probably half of them stayed on from last year with from a successful campaign, and they've had a half come from Rob's club, actually, from Wanderers. So combining the two with the coach, the ladies coach from Wanderers last year, has come across to Willowburn this year, and really, I suppose, changed the dynamics and the style of play that the girls play. A lot more passing and a lot more width and utilising the actual game play versus the old kick and chase. So it's probably, it's been a really good year to watch the girls grow. The competition, the ladies have had some good competition along the way. Rockville always put up a great one. I know Warwick, I think in the first round, gave the girls a bit of a scare as well. So, it's just, they're not the best on every day, and every day is different. So they have had a couple of closer calls, but sort of muscled on and really putting toward I don't want to put the mocker on them, but one win away from the perfect season.
Ramiz, I might just ask you about Madison Lockwood. 57 goals.
Ridiculous, right?
Goal scoring machine. Tell us about her.
Yeah, no. So we actually picked her up. So she's only young as well. I think she's only 17 or 18 or something. We picked her up from the Thunder ladies. She came in around round 3 or 4, I think. And honestly, since then, she's been unbelievable.
She's got to go back to the Thunder next year, right?
Well, potentially. I hope she doesn't. But no, it's credit to her. She's racked up the goals this year. But anyone who plays forward, I suppose they know that it requires a lot from your midfield, your wingers, and everything to keep setting her up as well. But no, she's had an incredible season for us.
57 out of 97 goals. Ashley and Nikola, you both must know who this player is, right?
I know of her, but I actually wouldn't pick her out on the field. We got scored against a lot in multiple different games. I'm sorry to say, don't know her face.
It's all a blur.
Yeah,
eh?
it's all a blur. I think though too, like if you're focusing on who their best player is, like certainly you want a man mark on that. But I play in the midfield. My job's to look at everyone and keep an eye on what's happening on the game. So I'm focused as much on what my girls are trying to do as what they're trying to do to us. So yeah, sometimes that's hard to then get to know players that you don't meet outside of on the field.
Ashley, what's your take?
I haven't actually ever met her or seen her on the field. I think the first game I was away where we played Rockville, and the second game she was out. I will admit I was quite looking forward to, as a defender, coming up against her on the field, but hasn't to be yet, probably won't for this season. But, to get that amount of goals, it's absolutely incredible in any division. So all credit to her and to the rest of our team for being able to set her up all the time.
It sure is. So we're looking at a situation where you two are going to be playing each other over the next couple of weeks, yeah?
Yep. We were supposed to do a makeup game recently, but they haven't been able to get it together. It was one of the rained out weekends, and we were looking forward because that would have been only our second game against each other this year, and we had quite a tussle last season. Yeah,
I think Toowoomba proposed it was a midweek game for us to travel to Dolby, and unfortunately, again, as you guys, half of our team, they're still all in school, to do that on a Thursday night isn't to be at this stage. But coming up against the Chinchilla ladies, it's always a tough game. We know it's going to be a good game, and I think I've missed playing this season, so really looking forward.
So, Ashley, you're rounding out your season this weekend against West Wanderers, who, let's say they haven't had the best of seasons. So a good game for you leading into the finals to get your confidence up, perhaps?
Yeah, we've had a few tough losses, I think, coming towards the end of the season. So it'll be really nice to hopefully get some confidence back. We've been working really hard at training, following up with our, going back to our passing patterns, all your basics, making sure that we're ready and we're good to go come into this little silver plate final.
And Nicola, you're up against USQ.
Yeah, we actually beat them earlier. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure we beat them 2-0. Where's my little sheet? 2-1. We beat them in our home game. So we faced them in the preseason, and they absolutely flogged the daylights out of us both games. But it was good to get started in those preseason matches and see we've got a fairly different team to last year. There's some of us core players who are the same, but looking forward to coming up against them now that it's been so long since we last played them. It's a good couple of months now since the end of round one. So yeah, we're hoping to put it to them again.
With this final series, do you guys play your games at whoever's the higher team on the ladder, or are they played at Clive Berghofer? How does it work?
Yeah, so the first lot of semis, which will be 5-6 versus each other and 7-8 versus each other, is going to be at Wanderers. And then we're going to be playing Saturday night games for those who go through for the prelim final and the grand final, a Saturday night. So the days before the actual prelim finals and grand final for the other divisions.
All right, there we go. All right, that's our look at the competition. Guys, is there something that's happening on up the range that us down in Southeast Queensland don't know about? Any developments, any infrastructure things happening? The floor's yours. Hit me with some stuff, guys, or even just banter at each other.
I'll throw one out. This year was one of the things that I wanted to do at our club, and it's just a bit of a promotion for it to encourage more people to join the program. I created what I call an all abilities program, and I did it in conjunction with Jay Larkin, who runs the Brisbane Paralympic football program down there. So we set up a program which is for kids who have different disadvantages and challenges that they go through. And so we've been doing that for probably about 2 months now, where kids come in on us every second Sunday and we put them through a program and do that. It's absolutely rewarding hanging out with all of those kids. They're just beautiful kids, and they just absolutely love coming along and being part of the program. So if there's any other people who would like to join that program as part of and join football in Toowoomba through our All Abilities program, have a look at our website. We've got some stuff on there about it. It'd be fantastic for more people who, if they want to come along and participate in it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. As someone who runs a program, similar program down my neck of the woods, it's certainly a great way to spend a Saturday morning.
Oh,
for me anyway, that's when we run out.
Oh, it is. It's rewarding what you get out of those kids. You know, they absolutely love you. Never have a sad face or anything like that. They're always just a smile on their face. It's just amazing.
And with all the clubs this season, how are the numbers? Is the game growing on the range? Are we getting more teams in the competitions?
Well, I know with Chinchilla, we've actually gone up to 3 teams this year in the senior comp. So we've got a champs, a conference and a ladies, which is the first time we've ever had that in our club history. Part of that is because we've got some regional projects going on at the moment with solar farms, and we've had some great players come in and join us. We've got a lot of juniors coming up and through. So that's exciting for us. We don't know if we'll still be able to sustain it next year. But yeah, the resource sector bringing in all those people has really, helped bring in a higher level of football for our club, which then is filtering down because the younger kids are seeing it and being excited about seeing that faster game of play. And we've got a lot of club culture and a lot of club pride. So it's nice to be able to share that with them dynamically.
So how many players do you have at your club, Nicola?
We play, so our juniors, we've got there's about 20 to 30 kids in mixed age groups. So it's 6, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, 11s, and then we go up to 12, 13s and under 16s. So the 12, 13s, under 16s play in the South Burnett comp, and the younger ones just play against Dalby. So yeah, you can do the maths on that. I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head, but we've got a good level of across all the age groups. So multiple teams in almost every age group except for the under 16s. And yeah, then the seniors, obviously. So yeah, it's pretty good. Getting there for a country team. We're
Yeah,
all
definitely.
Clubs
Sounds
doing
great.
all right.
And Ashley, are you across the numbers at Warwick?
No, I'm sorry. I do know that we have 3 senior teams. So we've increased in our men's comp this year, which I know was something that was really big. We had a lot of our juniors sort of in that under 16 that didn't really have anywhere to go that have been able to come up. Again, thinking about the area that we have lots of, your teachers that come out for, a couple of months, your healthcare workers to fill teams, which has been helpful. Again, very similar to Chinchilla, though, not sure if that will be able to be sustained for next season. It's a year by year.
All right, good stuff. And guys at the Toowoomba clubs, how are the numbers going this year?
Yeah, at Rockville, we've definitely had our biggest year. We got 6 senior teams this year. We have obviously a Prems team. We have 2 in the champs and 1 in the conference, the 3rd division. And we got 2 ladies side this year as well. So numbers there has been great, and juniors I think has ticked along quite well considering last year. Obviously with COVID, it broke up the season and we lost a fair few in different teams and that sort of thing. So I think everyone was raring to sort of get back in. So yeah, we added numbers in lots of age groups. So yeah, overall a really good building season.
Good stuff. All right. Let's end the show. I'm going to finish it by asking the ladies again, can Willowburn be beaten in this competition?
I'd like to say I think that they could, but the way that they've gone, they've had an incredible run. I would like to see them finish it, all games won. But football's football. Anything can happen on the day. Just depends on the team that's on the field and the team that's up against them.
And Ashley and Nicola, who's going to win the men's comp?
Ooh. I think the men, my partner, he's in the band, would like for me to say St. Albans, but not sure.
Good man.
I'm going to go with Saints for the men as well, but I'm tipping our championship boys to come over the top in their division.
There we go. All right, Ashley, you have got that favourites tag firmly on your back after this show.
Well, it sounds like that, yeah.
Sounds good. All right. So to all of you guys, you're all still alive in the competitions. Best of luck with the few weeks that we've got coming up. It's exciting times. I remember last year you streamed the grand final. Hopefully there's plans for that to occur again. That was a brilliant game in the grand final last season. So hopefully we get to see that. All right, guys, thank you so much for your participation tonight. It's been great to have you all on board. Good luck with the next few weeks. And this has been the Village Law SEQFC preview show. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you in the not too distant future, COVID permitting.